Hey everyone, I'm going to talk to you about how to fix comma splices. They are also bad. They are something you do not want in your writing. They are sentence errors. That is, unless you're doing them on purpose, which means you have a lot of control. But let's talk about how to avoid them, okay? So, comma splice. First off, what is that? A comma splice is basically two sentences running together, two ideas, two sentences without proper punctuation between them, okay? So what's happening is that they're running into each other, but they're not run-ons where they're just like whoosh, crashing together. Instead, they're kind of like boop, coming together. There's some sort of pause in between the writer has added. It's a comma, but it's not really enough. So it's like a car accident, but just boop, a fender bender. Not so bad, but still bad, and we want to fix it. Okay, so let me give you an example. Comma splices are so common, very common, still not okay. So let's fix them. Megan has comma splices in her paper. Pause. Got a comma, got a pause. Andre has run-ons. Period. All right, well, actually, a comma is not enough to separate two complete sentences. We have two complete sentences here. This is a complete sentence. It has a subject, a verb, and a complete thought. Megan has comma splices in her paper. Complete thought, complete idea. Andre has run-ons. Subject, verb, complete thought. You could add more. You could say in his. Doesn't really change anything. It's still a complete thought, okay? A lot of writers think that it's okay to separate these two complete thoughts, these two complete sentences with just a comma because it's a pause. But no, it's not enough. We don't separate sentences with just commas. We separate them with other means, but not with just a comma. This is a comma splice. Don't do it. So let me show you how to fix that, okay? All right, the first way is use a period. Megan has comma splices in her paper. Comma's not enough. Period, boom, done. The second way to fix a comma splice is to add a comma and a fanboy where that comma is. Well, you already have a comma, so I guess you don't have to add another comma, but you have a comma and a fanboy, and that's one way to fix a comma splice. What is a fanboy? A fanboy is an acronym for the coordinating conjunctions, which are words that combine words and sentences. So those are for, and, nor, but, or, yet. So if you remember fanboys, you'll remember that, hopefully. So let's see how we can use that to fix our comma splice. Megan has comma splices in her paper. Andre has run-ons in his. So keep the comma. Now let's add the appropriate fanboy. Which one makes most sense? We want to add information or we want to show an opposite idea. Either way would work. You can say, and Megan has comma splices in her paper and Andre has run-ons in his. Or you could show opposite by saying, but Megan has comma splices in her paper, but Andre has run-ons in his. Or you could even use yet, because yet and but have the same meaning, pretty much. Megan has comma splices in her paper, yet Andre has run-ons in his. That's one of my favorite ways to fix a comma splice. The third way is to add a HOTSHOTMAMACAT. What in the world is that? A HOTSHOTMAMACAT is another acronym that you should remember. It stands for conjunctive adverbs. Conjunctive adverbs are those words that we use to combine ideas, just like fanboys, but they start new sentences. So let me show you what they are. All right, here's the HOTSHOTMAMACATs. However, otherwise, therefore, similarly, hence, on the other hand, therefore, moreover, additionally, meanwhile, also, consequently, in addition, thus. Choose the one that works best for the sentence you're trying to fix. Megan has comma splices in her paper. Andre has run-ons in his. Maybe we want to show a contrasting idea. On the other hand, shows contrast. What you need to know about using these HOTSHOTMAMACAT conjunctive adverbs is that after them, we usually put a comma because they're so long. It's like a long word or phrase. And also before them, we often use semicolons. When you use a semicolon, you do not need to capitalize the first letter of the next word. So you can use a semicolon, which acts like a period, or you can just use a period, right? But if you use a period, capitalize that first letter of the next word. And that's how you would do that. The fourth way and last way, and my favorite way, is to add a WASBIT. What is a WASBIT? A WASBIT is another acronym that we use for these crazy conjunctions that I keep talking about, but this particular type of conjunction is called a subordinating conjunction, and subordinating conjunctions create dependent clauses, which is actually a beautiful thing as long as you know how to punctuate them correctly. Subordinating conjunctions, when used correctly with other sentences, create nice, beautiful, complex sentences. The WASBITs are these. When, while, whereas is the W, although and as, since, before, because, if, though, and even though. Remember, these words, they create dependent clauses. They can come at the beginning here of the first sentence, or they could come at the beginning of the second sentence where the comma splice happens. It just depends on what you're trying to say in the sentence and what works most logically. So we know we wanted to show addition or we wanted to show contrast in this comma splice when we fix it. So let's look at which WASBIT would work best to fix this comma splice that's here. Okay, we can show addition to fix this comma splice or contrast. The best WASBIT to show contrast in this sentence, in this example, I think would be while or whereas, okay? You could use even though or although or though as well. I just think that while and whereas show the contrast best. So we can take away that comma if you're putting it here, and you can just write while or whereas. Megan has comma splices in her paper while Andre has run-ons in his. Megan has comma splices in her paper, whereas Andre has run-ons in his. Now the great thing about the WASBIT is that you can also put it at the beginning of the sentence if it works logically. Here it would. We can say, while Megan has comma splices in her paper, comma, Andre has run-ons in his. Or, whereas Megan has comma splices in her paper, comma, Andre has run-ons in his. So you're just using one of these words at the beginning of the sentence, and you could work it out like that. But notice that I did add a comma there before that second sentence or clause, because when you add a WASBIT to the beginning of a sentence, you've created a dependent clause, and when you start a sentence with a dependent clause, the second sentence must be separated from it with a comma first. Okay? I hope those have helped you learn how to avoid and fix your comma splices. Bye.